India's economy and also its growing political importance have been a topic that we've been looking at here in Hong Kong at the Credit Suisse Asian Investment Conference. And joining me now to take a bit of a closer look at India is Credit Suisse Vice Chairman International and former US Ambassador to India, David Mulford. David, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
You are the man that negotiated the deal, the civil nuclear deal, that brought India back in from the political cold. Tell us a little bit, where does India stand right now on the political stage?
Well, I think you're right to point out the civil nuclear deal as being an important event in India, returning it to the top table internationally, from which they'd been isolated for 35 years by virtue of their nuclear exclusion. So that was a very important deal, took 4 years to negotiate, and has had a major impact on their image. And they are, of course, one of the rising countries in the world, very fast growing. They've made an enormous leap forward in the last 4 or 5 years. And they adapted extremely quickly and successfully to the '08 financial shock.
From the perspective of Credit Suisse, India represents a huge potential, both in terms of investment banking revenue as well as tapping the wealth pool in India. How are we going about trying to capture the potential there?
Well, Credit Suisse has had a long-term business in the private banking business, but in the investment banking business, it's been a question of greatly expanding our presence there over the last 3 to 4 years. I, of course, was ambassador, so I was not involved at that point in time with Credit Suisse. But Credit Suisse more recently, some 4 or 5 months ago, was granted a full banking license and therefore is in the process of opening its bank branch in India, which will be an event of some importance in the next couple of months, and expanding the base of its business in both fixed income and investment banking, and expanding its overall presence in India.
So that gives us a direct link to the capital markets there, and
yes, it does.
And also being able to tap those ultra high net worths in a more full service fashion. In terms of what the Indian government would need to do to make it more attractive to foreign investor flows, what's the top priority in your view?
Well, I think India has, regards itself, I think correctly in a way, to have had a very successful regulatory and supervisory regime internally, which on 2 occasions, 1997 and 2008, in their view, protected India from the fallout of an international or global crisis. So they're pretty well wedded to continuing a closely managed internal market situation. They recognize, however, that liberalization needs to take place, a broader sweep of the business into rural India, for example, and also a greater awareness of the potential of capital markets. But it will take time. It'll be a slow process.
Well, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks very much.
That was David Mulford, Vice Chairman International of Credit Suisse, on development and also opportunities in India.